as we're starting to bring in content like our imagery and some of this placeholder text, we want to start to make sure that we are going to start to style it in the way that we want and start using colors and things from our style tile and our mood board. So we're going to want to edit some of the elements that we set in our wireframes to incorporate the styling that we set. So I've gone ahead and I've just dragged in the JPEG of my mood board or style tile that you made. And I have it just hanging out on the pasteboard, so I'm going to use this for reference. The other thing that I've done is I've brought up the library part where we've got our components and then we've got our styles that we've set along the way and colors, and we're going to add those in a sec. So one of the things that's really handy is for each of these, obviously I could go in and I could name them. So I think this is actually going to end up being my H3. And I'm not entirely sure, what did I use this for? So let me go and hit highlight on canvas. And it should tell me. Apparently I don't have it on that canvas. Let me see, do I have it on this canvas? I don't know where I use this. Because if it's something like that, it should be showing me where I'm using this. Perhaps I am not using this H3 that I think I am. And this guy, it's my more text. This is my recipe titles. I think this is supposed to be my feature recipe title. I think that's what this is supposed to be. Nope. Okay, no idea. Oh, here we go. It's my directions. Main header. I should probably set my ingredients to have a character style. Okay, done. All right. That one's the same as somebody else. So I'm just going to start off with my nav text here. And you'll notice that right above highlight on canvas was edit. Now, before I edit it, let me just go back over to my style tile here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. 50% is probably good because then I can see both. So I've been using impact, and then here I have Caslon. So let's go ahead and things that are like big headers, I'm going to want to be impact. So let me go ahead to my nav text first and foremost and hit edit. So I can go ahead and I can change color. I'm going to define my colors in a minute. I can do spacing between the letters and line spacing, as well as changing the font size and the actual font itself. And depending on our font, we may or may not have different settings available here. So you notice that when I change it to impact, it's already kind of bold. And I'm going to then need to use things other than font weight in order to distinguish between different levels. So I'm going to go ahead and just leave that there, and we're going to do some tweaking as we go. So then I want to change my recipe titles. I wanted to have the impact. Great. Now, some of my other text, I want to be the Caslon. So let's go ahead and this more text. That's a good one to set for Caslon. It's going to be up. Let's see. I don't have Caslon currently installed, which is funny because I pulled that where it's probably called something else. Oh, Adobe Caslon Pro. There we go. So this one does have different options. So regular, semi-bold. So this more text, I'm going to leave as regular, but the body text, I think I'm going to want to set something different. So what are you? Again, the nice thing is highlight on canvas will show me that's the feature. You should call that highlight text. That's another thing that would be good for Caslon. So that's going to be all the way at the top as Adobe Caslon. Now that I maybe want to make semi-bold. And you can kind of see the difference here. So you can start to see kind of the contrast between the different elements. Now, maybe my more link, I want to be a different color. So before I start bringing the colors in, I should define them inside my library. Let me just save this. So I've pulled in this JPEG. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit to make my life easier. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make some squares here. And I'm basically going to recreate my squares for my colors. So that's going to be easier. So for the fill color for this guy, I'm going to grab my eyedropper. I want it to be this color. Helps if I'm then on the right one. Fine, I'll pop you here. Now I can go ahead and hit plus, and notice because I have a stroke and a fill, it's given me both colors. Oops. I don't want this border color, so I'm going to delete that one. I just wanted this color here. Now, the other thing I could do is if I had listed the hex colors, if I'd listed the hex values of my colors, I could have just typed those in, but I didn't, so I'm making more work for myself. But that's fine, because then it shows you. So now this guy is that one here, add that color, great. Okay, this guy, again, I want to get rid of that. I want to grab you. I want you to be that. Awesome. Add this color in. Terrific. This one, I want to be this nice color. And I want to add you. Now it's going to make it easier for me to define the colors that I want for my different nav text. Okay, cool. So I decided that my top level was going to be green and the next one down was going to be blue, and that my body text was mostly going to be blue. So let me zoom back out a little bit. So let's go back to my nav text and let's see what happens if I want to make it my blue. Okay, that's not bad. I'm okay with that. I don't hate it. All right, what about the feature highlight text? Let's go ahead and maybe make that the green. Nah, not loving that. Blue. And then maybe making the main header. Well, that, I should make that impact so I can see what that looks like. Maybe that should be green. All right, now the spicy Thai kale salad. That is this guy here. Should that also be green, maybe? Okay, yep. Now what about the more? That, let's try. There we go. So now our links definitely look different. Now, I'm not loving the space in here. I'm just going to maybe, make more, go up a little bit. Now, if I had made this a component, then I could have had that change for everybody, but we'll get there. So now, do I want a box around these guys? And if I do, I probably don't want it to be that gray. Maybe let's go ahead and make it that lighter color. All right. Okay, that's starting to pull things together. So, make sure that you're on the right thing. If I click border, I can go ahead. Border, grab you, I want you. Sometimes you try to do things too quickly and you mess things up. All right, starting to come together. Starting to look a little bit more like this. So I can go ahead and set all these guys. And again, if I want to go to my feature card here, this guy is a component. So let's edit main component. Go up here. Let me move this out of the way. And this, again, I want to make this impact. it doesn't have an italic, that's fine. So I can use maybe color as a way to be like, it's the featured one. If it's featured, how do I set it apart? So maybe something like that. And again, maybe the border here is going to be different. Oops, I keep doing that. And I want to be the border. I want to be this blue. And I know. So I can use things like color to set these apart as well. And maybe in this case, that more text, I'm going to override it. Instead, in this case, it's going to be blue. I've kind of flipped things around, or maybe it's green. So you can tell that these ones are different from these ones, so it's like the opposite. And if I set this, oops, if I then go and set this as a style, so let me go into my text here, add that as a character style, and be that feature recipe head. Then I can go ahead and on these guys, when I click on you, I want to edit the main component, and I want to go ahead and make this tip title my feature recipe head. And there you can see it's gone to all of them. So this is allowing us to, I'm going to copy you and then place you here. Oops. There we go. Starting to come together. So you can go ahead and edit your styles here in order to have things match the way that you want them to look from your style tile. And it's starting to feel like an actual page. In the next video, I'm going to go ahead and show you how you can bring in some user interface pieces so that we can make it clear to people that this scroll group is something that has right and left. We're going to bring in some other libraries into our piece.